Welcome, friends of Japanese Prince. I'm Dieter Manschura, and I'm the owner of the Artelino company, artelino.com, a small family company in southern Germany in the state of Bavaria. And we sell Japanese prints in weekly online auctions, and we produce videos about Japanese prints. And today I want to talk about Benkei. Why Benkei? Well, because you can see him quite frequently on Japanese prints. Benkei, his full name was Benkei Saito Musashibo. He was a historic, but partly also legendary monk warrior in feudal Japan of the 12th century. It was the period of the so-called Genpei Wars. Historically, the late Heian period. And Benkei is also a frequent subject in kabuki, or in no place, the Japanese theater. Kabuki, a little bit an elevated form of Japanese theater. And until our days, he's very, very popular in Japan. Every child knows him, yeah? And you can find numerous depictions of Benkei on art objects, Japanese art objects, of course. He's a bit like the epitome of a guy strong like a grizzly bear, but with a big heart and loyal to his lord with the name of Yoshitsune. So Yoshitsune and Benkei, that's a little bit like Robin Hood and Little John. If you've heard about, well, this legendary figure from England, Great Britain, the UK, Little John, the big guy, and Robin Hood, well, more the smart guy. Or, well, this comparison is a little bit daring, but we have cartoon characters here in Europe. They're called Asterix and Obelix is also the strong, big guy. Yeah? Nobody can resist him. And important, Benkei stands for loyalty. Loyalty is still today in Japan one of the greatest virtues in Japanese society. But before I continue with my lips, now I show you a few images of Benkei, and you will see how you can recognize him quite easily on Japanese prints by his cap. Already a few in the background that may not be well visible because I cover them currently. Let's go a little bit into detail. Well, this is a depiction by Kunisada, and there you see, well, this is this small black cap, and it's from the sect, the monk sect that Benkei had joined when he was a young man. But more about that soon, yeah? Another depiction, you see the huge guy, well, this is by Kuniyoshi. And also the small cap must not be very comfortable to have that on your head. And a last one, a more modern one by Masamitsu Ota. It shows a scene from the kabuki, and well, this is the character of Benkei. So easy to recognize when you're a beginner for Japanese prints. Benkei, small cap, you know, well, that's Benkei, the guy strong like a grizzly bear. Let's now talk about Benkei. Let's go back to the very beginnings, to his birth, yeah. According to the legend, he was born after a pregnancy not of 9 months, but of 8 months, okay? And he was a monster child with long hair and long teeth and a little rowdy, yeah? The Japanese called him Oniwaka, the devil's child. And his foster parents, because his mother had died after birth, his foster parents, they couldn't get along with him anymore. They gave him into the custody of a cloister. And also the monks at the cloister couldn't get along with him. And when they had enough, they sent him to another cloister, and like this, Benkei got to know a lot of cloisters. When he was 17 years old, he was 2 meters high, 2 meters tall, 2 meters for our friends and clients in the US, so that's roughly 6.5 feet. At that time, 12th century in Japan, a giant, yeah. Well, when he was 17 years old, he quit the monks. They were glad to get rid of him, and he joined the Yamabushi. Yamabushi was a sect of wandering bandit monks, and well, that is how the Yamabushi sect was recognized, by this little cap. So Benkei led the life of a robber. And he posted himself at Goyo Bridge in Kyoto. And whenever someone passed with a nice sword, he deprived that person who crossed the bridge of his sword, and nobody died to defy him, to show any resistance. And like this, he had collected 999 swords. Okay, now we in the legend part, but Benkei was actually a historical figure. And now it came to the encounter one day with Yoshitsune. Okay, 999 swords he had collected, and now he was waiting for sword number 1000. Yeah, and one day a short, small, fragile young man approached the bridge. It was Yoshitsune playing the flute. Yeah, and Benkei thought, hey, that is an easy victim. But Yoshitsune didn't want to hand him over his sword, and it came to a fight between the huge giant Benkei and this short, fragile little young man. And Benkei was defeated by Yoshitsune due to the swift movements and the superior fighting techniques of Yoshitsune. Yoshitsune was an aristocrat, and he had learned fighting techniques, and now we are in the legend again. Yoshitsune was a historical figure like Benkei, but this is now, of course, a legend. Yoshitsune had learned his fighting techniques, his martial art techniques from the Tengu. And the Tengu are mystical goblins who live in the mountains, in the Japanese mountains, and they are half human and half birds. You can also see them on Japanese prints, and then they usually have this face of a bird. Let's show a few of these images that show the fight between Yoshitsune and Benkei on the Goyo Bridge, because also that is a frequent subject on Japanese prints. Okay, well, this is a very old one from Shunsho Katsukawa, a little bit difficult to recognize. Well, there you have the big guy Benkei, and there Yoshitsune, agile, flying over him, making some acrobatic movements, slapping with one hand Benkei from top on the head. Yeah, this is a little bit a lot of imagination. Another one. Okay, well, this is one from the 19th century, Chikanobo, yeah? Okay, well, there the crude giant Benkei, and here Yoshitsune playing the flute. Yoshitsune on high heels, on these crazy Japanese wooden sandals. I mean, how he can be able to fight on such shoes is a mystery to me. And here he looks rather tall, actually, yeah, but it was the fight of a small guy against a crude giant of raw strength. Next image, oh, Yoshitsune. Yoshitsune, the great master of the Meiji period, late 19th century, who had a very strong way dynamic drawings, and here you see here Yoshitsune, and here, well, the wild giant Benkei. Okay, a few images. Well, what happened after the fight? Yoshitsune defeated Benkei, and Benkei recognized, well, he's stronger than me, and Benkei vowed eternal loyalty towards Yoshitsune, and he became the faithful comrade and vassal for Yoshitsune, and accompanied him through numerous adventures and battles. And when in the Japanese history, all these stories, Yoshitsune and Benkei, they are very, very popular, and all Japanese children will know these stories, and they adore Benkei. The story has a bad ending. Yoshitsune, he became a brilliant military leader for the Minamoto clan. And at that time, the Minamoto clan fought against the Taira, and Yoshitsune defeated the Taira clan in a final decisive battle. It was the naval battle of Danura. By the way, recently I made another video about that, and if you're interested, it's quite interesting, naval battle in the 12th century. Well, and he was popular, Yoshitsune, yeah, and he was really a brilliant military leader, but he had an evil brother. His brother, he was the elder brother, Yoritomo, and he was the shogun. And Yoritomo was jealous of Yoshitsune, and he considered him a threat for his own power, and so he wanted to remove him, yeah, like that. And Yoshitsune, he had to flee, and he fled with his family, his children, and his wife. And of course, he was accompanied during this flight by Benkei, his faithful comrade. But finally, they fled always further and further to the north, but finally they were encircled by the troops of Yoritomo. There was no chance, and Benkei defended his master until the end. Yoshitsune first killed his children, and then he and his wife, they committed suicide. But the legend says there was a good end. Well, those who were killed, they were just body doubles, certainly historically a nonsense. And the legend says the real Yoshitsune and Benkei, they could escape, and they led a happy life until the end of their days. Okay, so much, but the historic facts are certainly different from that. I now show you a last image that is a triptych. The triptych is by Kuniyoshi, and it shows here Benkei. There he doesn't have that small cap, but a very large, and this is typical for this late period called Heian period. Yeah, okay, well it was the late Heian period, and here he wears this typical cap from the late Heian period. And also interesting, let me move a little bit back here, yeah? Okay, well there you see Yoshitsune, grown up there, he looks bigger like Benkei. The wife of Yoshitsune, and quite interesting, she wears a weapon that's a so-called Naginato. Naginata. This was the preferred weapon for women, especially for wives of samurai. And this was kind of a sword, you see, long knife or sword attached to a long pole. And therefore it was the ideal weapon for women, because like this they could compensate the longer reach of men who are usually taller than women. You can see this rather often on Japanese prints, women with this Naginata weapon. Well, this is it. So much about Benkei. popular subject on Japanese prints. Let me conclude. Artelino, we have weekly auctions of Japanese prints. You can buy prints from us, but you can also sell prints from us. But please not single prints. We take complete collections from you as a consignment, and it's not like eBay that you can upload it or something, because we are responsible. We make the descriptions, we make the images, so we work a little bit like a conventional brick and mortar auction house, but we are exclusively online. But you have to send the prints to us. But when you have a collection and you want to sell it, I think artelino is one of the best options you can have. Well, so much for today. Long video today about Benkei. Thanks for your patience, and I hope to see you for our next video. Goodbye.